Hi, audience. This is the Something Scary podcast. I'm your Ate Sapphire. I receive hundreds of amazing story submissions every single week. As always, the first story you hear is one that I've chosen to animate and post over at youtube.com/snarled. So, wanna hear something scary?
Hi, I haven't filmed for a couple of days, mostly because I've been stressed out, basically. But that's not important. What's important is within the past couple of days, I have actually finished reading 2 books. I finished reading 1,000 Beginnings and Endings, which is the short story collection and also the group book for the Asian Readathon. I think it covers most of the challenges within the readathon, except for the graphic novel one. So if this is the only book that I end up reading for that readathon, I think I've got it covered. I really enjoyed it. As I keep mentioning, I am very surprised at how much I enjoyed this short story collection, because in the past, short stories and just short story collections in general I haven't really had the best time with them, which is why I don't usually buy physical copies of them. I usually read them on like Scribd, or I would try and find them in the library, you know, digital library and all that stuff. But this one I was very surprised. I really enjoyed most of the stories in here. Obviously I didn't give all of them, you know, a high rating or anything like that, but I did really enjoy most of them. I also really enjoyed the added bonus of like having the original legend and myth play a part in this collection. So you would often read the short stories, and then after it's done, it has like the legend or the myth of where the author got inspired for the story. Did that sentence make sense? I don't know. You know what I mean. The second book that I finished, I also already talked a lot about, but it's the poetry collection Helium by Rudy Francisco. I've given this spiel before. Rudy Francisco is one of my favorite poets. He's one of my favorite spoken word poets. He was kind of my introduction to spoken word poetry, and I loved most of the poetry that he has in this. So I highly recommend checking out his YouTube videos on YouTube. This covers a lot of topics, but the main one that I'm gonna use to fit this into the mental health readathon is anxiety, because he does talk a lot about anxiety within his poems. So yeah. Guess what just came in the mail? Another book that I ordered impulsively. Except I know what this one is this time, because I only ordered it a couple of days ago, because I started reading a Christina Lauren book, because I've heard so many great things about them as authors, and I wanted to check it out, even though none of the prompts for the 2 readathons that I'm participating in can fit this book in. It's so pretty. I really like it. It's also thicker than I thought it would be. But yeah. update time because I didn't get to do it this morning because I was running late to vote because I needed to vote this morning. But I am almost done with Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. I have to admit, I kind of, you know, lost a little bit of interest towards the middle, but I think that's just like a me thing. I don't think that's the book's fault, because that happens to me a lot with books, especially if I'm reading something within a long stretch of time, I guess, because I'm kind of very scatterbrained and I lose interest very easily because I get bored very easily. But I am that far off from the end and I'm actually really enjoying it again. So I'm probably gonna finish this tonight. And the second book that I am reading, I got the physical copy of yesterday in the mail. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is actually a new release, which is something I never do. I never read new releases on the day that it's released or like in the month that it's released, but I just randomly picked it up on Scribd because I just saw it, and you know, I've been meaning to pick up a Christina Lauren book because I've heard so many great things about their writing styles and like their romance books in general, and I'm a big fan of romance, so I started reading it. This is about two characters, Olive and Ethan, and they well, Ethan is the best man to this wedding, and Olive is the maid of honor because their siblings are getting married. And at the start, when they have the wedding and they have the reception, all of the guests except for Ethan and Olive get food poisoning because they are the only two that didn't eat whatever was served in the buffet. And so because everyone else is sick, there is a honeymoon that Olive's sister won, and obviously she can't go because she's sick and everyone else is sick, so she ends up going with Ethan because they're the only two that didn't get sick, and they didn't want to, because they can't refund the honeymoon or anything, so they end up going. It's a hate to love fake relationship kind of trope that is explored in this book, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm only like that far in, but I can safely say that this is basically what I wanted The Hating Game by Sally Thorne to be, because not only is it, you know, about the romance is really sweet and it's really nice, but it's also like the characters individually I really like, and I think one thing that I noticed, they never, Christina Lauren never make any of the quirks that these two characters have cute. Like their quirks are very realistic and they're not cute, and that's something that I always notice. Like whenever characters have quirks in romance books especially, they always somehow make it cute, but in this instance it's not cute and it feels more realistic that way. Like not everything about them as characters are like sweet and cute and like, you know, does that make sense? I don't know, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I know, weird angle, but it is midnight and I just finished reading Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. So basically, my overall thoughts on the book is that I don't quite know how I feel about it. It's this good feeling that's not just due to me enjoying a book. It's this good feeling that's like something realistic that's happened, even though this is a fiction book. There's something about this romance that I really like, and it also
weirds me out, I think because it's so realistic. And I know that that word gets thrown around a lot, but between this book and Fast and Then, the romances are very slow, and they're very careful and cautious and awkward, but not in a cute manic pixie dream girl way. It's awkward in a realistic way, and it's awkward in a cringy way, which makes it more relatable and realistic. And it's also a romance that doesn't feel like a romance. It's a romance that grew out of like friendship, I guess. I don't know. It's really late, and I don't know how to properly describe my feelings on this book, because it just feels like real events, and real events are never just black and white, like I love this thing or I hate this thing.